Hello and welcome. My name is David and this is my thematic unit website for EDCI 522. As you can see from the title, my unit will be covering the Enlightenment and the Scientific Revolution. One of the things I've included in my introduction is that I've been teaching ninth grade for 5 years now, and this is a topic that every year I really struggle with getting the kids to get really interested in. And so I'm hoping that by using this unit, that's something that can really get them interested in the Enlightenment. When you go to my website, it'll drop you on the introduction page, and so it just shows a little bit about me, the classes that I teach, and a little bit about my teaching history. So to get right into it, I started out by creating a page with all of the standards that I'll be using. These standards, as you can see, are listed first Common Core, what I'll be teaching in social studies, and then I also included the 21st century skills along with the nets for students and for teachers. Now, as I listed them here, I did not put which lesson each of the standards would be included in. However, as you're going through my lessons, the next page is the lessons plan, each lesson actually lists which standards will be used. And so if you're to open that up and click on it, you can see lesson 1. I have listed within lesson 1 which standards will be used. I thought that this would maybe be a little bit less cumbersome to have them listed directly within the lesson instead of just having them listed on that page. One of the things that you'll notice when you click to open my lesson plans, they are view only. However, they are shared Google Docs. So when they come from my Google Drive, they'll update automatically. If I want to make a change on one of these documents 2 years from now, it'll update automatically on my website, and that way I don't have to go back through, add in, re-add attachments. They're just always just how I need them to be, and they're in their most recent state. The next page that I have is an assessments page. Because my unit, as you're going through it, you're going to find is actually kind of a project-based learning unit. Some of the assessments that I'm going to use are rubrics. The rubrics are listed, which lesson that they will be used in, and then those rubrics are also referenced within the lessons themselves. There are a number of different times that I'll be using smaller formative assessments throughout the unit. Some of those include checking notes, some of them include class discussions, and so for some of those I didn't feel like I needed a rubric. The collaboration unit will be done on an individual basis. That will actually be used throughout the unit, and so each student will have a rubric that they have to keep track of, and I will give them a grade based on what they do within their groups. The second two rubrics that would then be used are the presentation rubric and the topic information rubric. The students, after doing research on one of the topics from the Enlightenment period, will present that information to the class in some way. They have a lot of different choices that you're going to see on my list of technologies for how they can present their information. The presentation format rubric will actually be used to determine, did the students choose the correct format to present their information? In other words, was it an effective and efficient means of giving that information to the class? And then did they put a lot of effort into design and how the presentation actually looks? The topic information rubric then is a second rubric that actually is an assessment of the information that the students researched and the information that the students included. So that way they're kind of receiving two separate assessments, one based solely on the presentation and one based solely on the information that they find. The last piece that you'll find here in the assessments page is the Enlightenment topic preference. It's actually a survey that is run through a Google form, and I'll give that to the students. You'll see after lesson 3. They'll go home. This will be a homework assignment that they have to take, and they're able to mark up to the top 3 topics that they would like to research on. Then based on those survey results, I'm going to create groups within each class so that the kids are working together on topics that they like, and not just, if I let them choose themselves, they might just choose, hey, I'm going to work with my best friend, even though they really don't want to work on the same topic. So I'm hoping that that gets maybe some students working together that wouldn't typically work together or choose to be in a partnership with one another, but by having that common interest, it'll show them that they definitely do have some things in common. My list of technologies page lists the technologies that I used as I was creating my website, as well as any of the technologies that the students might use when they are going through this unit. Because it's a project-based learning unit, and because I'm going to try and be very, very open-ended with it, I tried to predict to the best of my ability what some of the presentations formats the students might use would be. However, this list that I put for presentation technologies is not the end-all be-all list. I'm hoping that the kids come up with new ones and find new ones, and then for me, even if they do that, now I'm learning about some new technologies as well. My peer review survey is also run through my Google account. It is set up through a Google form, and what I tried to do as you go through the survey, anytime you mark bad, excellent, whatever, I tried as often as possible to allow for user input. And so hopefully, as you go through, you look at the creativity and the innovation page. Hopefully you'll be able to give in some typed feedback so that I can see that. To me personally, the typed feedback is as important as the feedback from the scale, because to me it tells me exactly what the person was thinking at that time, and it gives me a little bit more feedback on exactly what you think should be changed. I'm not going to go through the whole survey like that, but again, anytime you're able to, if you're willing to type your feedback into this section, I would so much appreciate it. Lastly then is my reflection and implementation page. Because I've already taught the Enlightenment and the Scientific Revolution this year, this is going to be a unit that I implement at the start of the school year next year, hopefully around the 1st of September. I'm not exactly sure how many classes I'm going to implement this unit with. I hope to implement it with all of my 9th grade classes, but I am kind of considering implementing it with just one as a test. And if it goes really, really well, maybe I do this later on down the road, either again as this unit or using it with a different topic and different matter. Also on this page, obviously I can't put any peer review changes on it yet because I don't have the results from the peer review survey, as those don't have to be completed until next week. So as those come in, I'll list the changes here that I make, and then I finally wrote just kind of a brief reflection of my thoughts and my opinions of the course, and what I really appreciated about the course. So again, that's pretty much my website. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or to contact me through our course website. Thank you so much, and have a great day.